Welcome to Embroidery Notes. In this YouTube video, we're going to be stitching out the design that we digitized in the first video on this channel. That letter E profile photo, that was the beautiful artwork that was provided by YouTube. We're just going to stitch that out into a patch, and I'm just going to walk you through that process. So all the supplies that you're going to need in this video are going to be starting with the fabric that we're going to be using, which is just a sheet of felt. This is what is going to be used for the patch. I'm using white felt because the border around the patch is white, so it's going to make it look really clean, and you'll see that at the end of the video. Another thing that we're going to need for this video is tearaway stabilizer. Another thing that we're going to need are some scissors. I have these embroidery scissors, gooseneck scissors, something like that, but you can get them pretty much at any embroidery store or sewing shop. And then behind me I have this hoop master, which I use to just hoop my garments and whatever fabric that I'm working on. Another thing that you want to make sure you have is a hoop. In this case I have a Mighty hoop. They're magnetic, so they're pretty nice. I really like the Mighty hoops, but machines come with their own hoops with different size dimensions. Another thing that you're going to want is a flash drive or the cord that connects from your computer to your embroidery machine. We're just going to upload a PES file because I have a Brother machine. Brother machines take PES files. If you don't know what file your machine takes, you can just Google it, or sometimes the software that you use, it'll say the machine and then how it exports and what the file is going to be, so just make sure to select that. Alright, so now we have our felt hooped into the Mighty hoop, and now we're just going to get this on the machine. You just want to make sure that whenever you hoop something that the back of it is fairly taut and you can almost hear, like you could tap it almost like a drum. So now we're just going to take our flash drive and put it into the machine. And then we're going to choose our design here. Rotate. I'm going to move it over a bunch just because I want to use the least amount of space of this felt as possible. So I'm going to move it as close to the top of this so that I'm not cutting right here to cut out the patch, but instead I'm cutting closer to the edge. And now the first part of this stitch is just going to be the underlay. That is the white stitch that goes before the red tatami stitch that's going to go on top. So now that the white underlay has stitched out, now we have our underlay set, and we're just going to go over the top with the red thread to create the tatami stitch. So now the red tatami stitch has stitched out, so we're just going to change the thread out to the white thread and finish with this E satin stitch and then the satin border. So now that we've completed our first stitch, I'm just going to go over some of the things that I'm going to change going into the second stitch attempt. One thing I'm going to change is I'm going to switch the underlay on this red tatami stitch. We had it as a white tatami stitch just going 90 degrees. I'm going to change that to red. I don't know why I did that. And then on this E, on the satin stitch, it looks like I need to adjust these stitch angles. And also, I'm definitely going to be taking off the edge run because you can see the underlay is poking through, which you don't want. You want the satin stitch to be covering the underlay. And I like how the border turned out. However, we'll see after we cut out this white felt how clean the border really looks. We're just going to tear away our tearaway stabilizer. The next thing we're going to do here is we're just going to cut out our patch. So just get whatever most precision scissors that you have and just try and get as close as possible to the edge of this border. And this is where I'm using these embroidery scissors. So now that we've cut out the patch from the felt, now you'll see that there's some felt that's showing through here on the edges. And a trick that you can do to get rid of this look, is you can get a lighter and you can just go not right on it, but just kind of keep it at a distance and just burn off this excess felt. I actually had to shoot this video twice because I deleted the footage. So this is the first attempt, and I used black felt. So you could see that it makes a pretty big difference, the fabric that you use for your patch. So just make sure that your fabric color or your felt color is the same color as your border, so you don't make this mistake. Because you could see here, when I use the white felt, it blends in with the border, so it looks really clean. And then the last thing I would recommend to finish this patch is just to get some iron-on adhesive, and then you could just iron on the adhesive to the back of this, and then you could give it to someone else and they can iron this on to whatever garment that they want to put it on. Some final embroidery notes that I'm going to give to myself when going and doing the second attempt on this patch: just change the underlay on this red tatami stitch to be a red underlay so that there's no white showing through. You can kind of see a little bit of white showing through. The other thing that I'm going to change is on the E satin stitch. I'm probably going to add a little bit of pull compensation or push compensation, and I'm definitely going to remove the edge run that I gave to the E. I'm going to be removing that. And then also possibly I'm going to be changing the stitch angles of the horizontal parts of the E. If you've made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. As always, I'm open for bulk orders, I'm open for custom orders. Just feel free to reach out. Also reach out with your questions. If you have any questions about digitizing or embroidery, I've only been doing this for 4 or 5 years now, but I'm really obsessed with it. I really like doing both digitizing as well as working on a machine. So I have some trial and error experience, but I'm no expert by any means, and I have a lot to learn as well. So if you have any questions, I'm always really happy to help out if I can. Just feel free to reach out to me directly, or you can just drop a comment.